Hi, this is KV, and this is the moon phase report for the new moon in Virgo coming on Monday, August 25th. It's just around the corner. So first thing I want to tell you guys, right now, what's going on primarily, there's so much going on. This is really like the most far out new moon. There's just action, there's life-changing things are happening right now. But what you're going to be feeling immediately is something that basically how I think most people look at the void of course definition is something that my body doesn't really resonate with, and I've tried to follow what people say it means, but to me what it really means is that it relates to the cusp aspect and the shifting from one sign to another, or from one house to another. So for me, what I have really felt in my body is that when the moon is shifting into another sign, I really feel it. I really don't feel stable. I really don't feel confident. I really don't feel sure of what's going on. It always kind of has me a little more like out of control and not really feeling like I have a grip on things. So I like to watch the moon and really see when it reaches 27 degrees and then when it's done at 3 degrees of the next sign. So what's happening right now is that this new moon is the sun right now is about at 2 degrees Virgo. So for the past several days, people have just been like not really feeling comfortable, feeling like there's too much to deal with, feeling like everything is taking too long, feeling like they don't have control on what's going on. And this is kind of like if you too think about when you are moving out of a house and you think about how, and I move all the time, so this is like the longest I've been is in this house, but so I know about this one so well, that's why I always kind of relate it to that. But you know, you get the images if you're going to be doing this, you're really excited, you're ready to move into this new thing, but you still have a lot to handle and deal with the old house. And it's not just the moving, because even that, you get into the moving and you notice it takes like 10 times longer than what you think. You know, we're always like, oh, it's a breeze, I'll need you for 4 hours, you know, and then it's like 18 hours, and then you still have to go back to the house and clean it, and that too, you're like, oh, an hour or two, and it's like 8, you know, or 10. So we never really estimate things correctly when we're moving. So, you know, I always think, okay, it's going to be about 3 times as long as I think. So that's kind of what's happening with us right now. It's where we're really ready to go into this new thing, but we still have so much to handle right here, and it's going to feel like too much stuff that you don't want to deal with. So that's where we're at right now with this new moon, and we can feel that this one's really special. You know, you should already be feeling that like something big is happening, something huge is changing my life. I'm coming to new decisions, because one thing a lot of people will be facing is really kind of making these life changes that you could not make before, and now the energy is so powerful and it's so focused in like, you know, feelings of like never again, or I will never do that again, or I am learning from this time, or I am changing this absolutely 100% right now. I'm going to change the way I treat my body. I'm going to change what I put in my body. I'm going to change this work situation that is intolerable. I'm going to change this relationship situation. You know, it's really kind of bringing a lot of huge strength to make changes that almost kind of like move us in a 180-degree new direction. So you're feeling this right now, and that's a lot of pressure. Especially because this is void of course, so we're not really sure what this new thing is, what it's really going to take, but we know we're like done with all this stuff. You're done with the old house, you know, you're ready to get out of this old house. I'm ready for that new house, but it hasn't really happened just yet. So that's kind of adding to the frustration. That's why people are like, go, go, go. I need this from you now. Where's my thing? I'm frustrated. You know, you need to go faster. Come on, let's go. Da da da, you know. So even though I'm out of the world right now, I've been kind of in hiding in this time because I knew that it was going to be kind of high pressure. but I'm still kind of feeling that in my own life, you know, like the written horoscopes. Good God, it's taken me like 4 days to write them. Even this video, I've recorded it so many times. The first time I was getting attacked by fire ants, which I'm so deadly allergic to. I'll get the hugest thing like an apple, and then it won't heal really for like a decade. So I really try to stay away from the fire ants. I never was introduced to fire ants till I moved to New Mexico. And now, like, so I was sitting on ants and I got bit. I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. And then there were all these other things that I kept like, okay, let's try this. And then the computer was like freezing up every 5 seconds. So I was like, that's not going to be fun to watch. So even I've never had as many problems recording something. And there's another part of me that's like, just stop, you know, do it another day. But we have this judgmental energy that wants us to keep going forward, that wants us to perform, that wants us to not give up. So there is some really huge lesson in not giving up right now and just continuing with it, even though it might be so annoying, it might be so frustrating. You know, you've spent all this time doing it, it doesn't feel right, nothing's working out, but still there's something in you that's like, try it another time, give it another try, let's go at it again. So you're kind of not giving up on yourself right now. You're not allowing yourself to just go with the flow and be like, it's not going to work, let's try another day. You're going to go inside and be like, okay, let me try one more time. It's just me right now doing this, because I went back to the writings that I've been working on for 4 days, and I started writing, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to write. I guess there's no video. And then I was like, okay, go outside and try again. So I'm going to make this work, because I really do not have any more hours in the day to mess around with this stuff, because I've just been like, yeah, I can't get anything done. So just understand that too. There's so many details, there's so many things to take care of, everything's taking longer. There's so much more to do than you were thinking. There's a really big tendency to see all the trees and not really focus on the whole forest, you know, to really be kind of like putting so much into that and then so much into that, and then not really even seeing like how you're going to get out of it or how you're going to get to the end. And then that can really bring overwhelm into your feelings right now of just like, I can't deal with this, I'm going crazy. So just know, once this void of course part exits, you know, once we get to about 3 degrees, you know, so even by the end of tomorrow, you're going to be much more like, okay, I can see what needs to be done. And then what rushes in is that same commitment and determination that has me coming back to record these again and again and again is actually going to be applied to these new things that are coming to you that you know you need to bring into your life now. These new changes, these new directions. You can expect that people are going to take like 180-degree different changes in their life right now. And it can be very much where you have been, you know, because mental comes into this a lot. So it can very well be like you think, I need to go in this path, I need to go like this, I need to do it like that. And something's going to shift in the next couple of days where your heart's going to come into it, and it's going to be like, you know what? That is not the path for me. My mind has been telling me it has, but my body is so like, oh my gosh, I need to go in this direction over here. You know, so you're going to feel this really strong, committed strength to be like, I'm done with that. And I'm going to start going over here, and I'm going to start doing this other thing over here. So expect that you're going to see this all over the place with people. Stop. Gosh, there's so many flies out here. Flies and ants, and leave me alone. So that's how you can be feeling too. Like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Give me a break. That's how I was in the house. It was like flying things all over me. I'm like, you guys are driving me crazy. So, even that, I just got the feeling of like a mom who has too much going on, and kids like, Mom, I need this, I need that, and you leave me alone, you know, because like that's this energy, leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. I don't want to have to do what anybody tells me I have to do. I don't want to do anything that's like a responsibility. I just want to be free. And honestly, as much as you can put yourself into that space of free is where a lot of that inspiration is coming, and it's where a lot of that new direction stuff is coming. And because we're in this void of course new moon, because this actually started when we were at 27 Virgo, you know, so 5-6 days ago, that was when all of the arena of the energy right now really started to muddle together. So you can have moments of, you know, and it'll vary as to where this stuff is going to manifest for you all. But, you know, maybe even 5 or 6 days ago, if you were out like sitting in a meditative space and I hate you, fly, get out of here. If you were, he's like, I'm coming for your eyeballs next time. Yeah, I know you are. Or my nose, or my mouth. So if you can be in meditative spaces and like really just like, you know, I wrote this on someone's horoscope, I can't remember, but for me, like, I process everything through writing. Like, it's just how I work. Oh no, the thing is freezing up again, isn't it? Oh no. Oh, I think it is. It looks like it's freezing on me. That's okay. You guys are going to have to deal with this. This is what it was doing before, too. It was freezing up. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. It's not. Okay. Gosh, man. This stuff's driving me bananas. So, anyway, so if you can be in kind of these spaces where you're just kind of like letting go of expectations, letting go of thinking about what you need to do, letting go of that to-do list that has 20 million things on it, letting go of all those things you want to be doing that you can't do because you have that to-do list, you know, just kind of like breathing. I think breathing is really important right now where people are forgetting that, and you know, that's been a big thing for me. It's like I don't even know how to breathe anymore. But so I was sitting out in nature and just like breathing, and then for me, like, writing is my avenue to bring through information. It's always been my gift. Like, I just say, hey, I want to know da da da, and it's like da 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 da, and I don't even know what I'm bringing through. So I call myself, well, I don't really call myself this, but I thought of like the sleeping prophet. I'm kind of like the writing prophet because I can bring through any answers if I can just write them. So I've always been that way with things in my life that are bothering me. I'm always like, well, I'm racing to the paper and pen. Like, if I have anything confusing going on, I need a paper and pen. So I was out in nature and I just like was like, what's going on with my life? Things feel, everything's okay, but things feel like, I don't know, am I going in the right direction? Is everything da da da? I just don't feel grounded. And then this whole thing was written out, even like steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to focus on that. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it like completely changed my life. I even made decisions that I would never make, which one of them is that I'm closing my shop come September 1st because, not forever, just like a couple weeks to a month, but I'm just always behind. For 2 years, I've never not had 20, 30 to 50 orders. Actually, I've never had 20. I've always had 30 to 50 orders in wait. So every moment of my life is always about trying to get through all these orders, get through all these readings, handle all these things. Everything is like the past that I'm trying to get ahead on, and I can't. Like, anytime I do get ahead, or anytime I like wipe out a whole bunch of orders, then I get just that many or double, you know, the next couple days. So it's like I can't ever get ahead. So I was really like, I have to stop everything to really kind of regroup, take care, you know, stop the flow of stuff coming in. I'm like that Lucille Ball in the Chocolate Factory thing, you know? It's like it just keeps coming in and I can't keep up, and then I'm not able to do all these other things because I'm in this non-stop thing of trying to keep up with all this flow that is coming that I can't really handle. So I was like, I need to stop everything. I need to, you know, I'm going to talk to this programmer. I have all these people lined up that I'm going to work with to really help me make this process quicker. Maybe even talk to a publisher to see if she can help put these together, because I want to create all these other things too. I want to be future bound too, you know? So anyway, I never would have come up with that decision on my own, and I have so many people have told me I needed to. You need to put your shop on vacation for a couple weeks. Just do it every so often to catch up. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but then I'll be cutting off that flow. That's not right, right? And I just really, when I was out riding and stuff, it was like, no, you have to do this. This is what you have to do. So I just was like, yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh, I could see it so clearly all of a sudden. And then all these things were mapped out. You need to do this. You need to call this person. You need to do this. this, you need to join with that person. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. So do know with this energy that if you can pull away, if you can really just get out of the space you're in, get out of the house, get away from the kids, you know, take a few hours to get out into nature and really like allow this guidance to come through you as to what your heart really wants you to do, because the energies right now are really trying to allow you align you to that soul's purpose work stuff. And one thing you'll hear about, what I wrote a lot about this on the new moon readings, and you can read about it there. But one of the things is that what our soul's purpose is a lot different than what people think. It's not an actual, like, for some people it is, but it's not actually like a job description. It's more the flavors of the experiences you've had in life and what you've learned from your upbringing has actually groomed you into having these skills and these strengths that now you can give to the world. And what's so beautiful about the energy right now is it is showing you that it's from those limiting things. It's from those things in life that you thought called negatives, that you thought were weaknesses, that you thought, you know, were having you kind of suffer in life because you came from poverty, or having you suffer in life because you came from so much sexual abuse, or suffering in life because your parents were schizophrenic or depressed or whatever. And now what's happening now is that we're just changing, and we're gaining a new perspective on what has happened to us from our past, and there's a strength coming to it. You know, there's a like, wow, look at what I've overcome. And truth be told, you know, like I said in one reading before, I wouldn't be doing, I said that in my Saturn return. I did a Saturn return podcast. You need to check it out. It's awesome. I'm going to write more on it. But I realized I could not be who I am now had I not walked every one of those situations that really had me feeling like the biggest loser and like nothing ever works out for me. All I have is suffering. You know, as I kind of say, I came into this world having rocks put on my little sprout instead of miracle grow. So it's always been a struggle. It's always been harder. Nothing's ever been easy. Although now I feel like things are really easy. And now I'm like, oh no, my life is so effortless. This is magic. But, you know, it's all those things, though, have groomed me for what I'm doing now and who I'm going to be in the world. And this is the same for all of you. So everything that, you know, everything that you really did see as a negative and things you wanted to hide because you were so embarrassed about. I came from a really poor family. You know, we had a cooler as our refrigerator in winters sometimes. You know, it's like we didn't have money to pay for these things. You know, all these things we used to really be embarrassed about, and now we're like, yeah, well, I came from nothing. You know, and it's kind of like, that's kind of cool now, huh? And that's really what's going on with this energy. I can see it's freezing up. I'm so sorry, guys. I have to keep going though, because something must be wrong with this computer and I can't record it again. So please bear with the freezes. Hopefully the voice is still recording. Bummer. But so the main thing with this energy is trying to birth that kind of Chiron and Saturn aspects in our body and in our life, where we look at things in a different way and not such as a negative, but kind of being like, you know, kind of what you think of, you hope for with parents, and especially parents now who are younger. They really are like, I want to give my daughter everything that I did not have. You know, so we have a new kind of thing where whatever we learned is what we really want to give back as a contribution to make a difference in other people's lives. So whether it's with our own kids or whether it's out in the world with others, we're really looking at what happened to us and what we had to walk and seeing how we can use that as our soul's purpose work to now make a difference in other people's lives in some way, to give back what we had to walk. So that flavor is the hugest thing that's out there right now. It's rising above from what we've had to walk and really feeling proud of how dysfunctional we are, or how dysfunctional our lives were, feeling like this is so cool. You know, I mean, I thought about that, you know, even like on my About Me page, how I talk about having a father who's schizophrenic and bipolar. That's cool now, you know? It's so awesome. What a great world we're in. But we can respect that kind of stuff. You know, you know, there's in my private group called the Life Collective, there's a section that I've created called What It's Like. And the reason I created it is because I've realized that the more we're honest about this stuff and the more we share about the situation we've had to walk, the more we breed compassion. Because when people read this, we relate to what you came from. And then we're just so much more open to anybody else that we meet on the street that now has this going on. So, you know, I'm asking people to share stories about what it's like to be transgender, you know, what it's like to be schizophrenic, what it's like to be bipolar, what it's like to have a bipolar parent, what it's like to be an alcoholic, what it's like to have an alcoholic parent, what it's like to be black-skinned in a world that's still racist, you know, what it's like to always feel like people look at you and they instantly are saying you're black, you know, which I write about this. I think I talked about this in the writing. I'm really trying to move people to describing people as their skin pigmentation instead of calling somebody white or black, because it's we do things like, oh, you're blue-eyed or you're green-eyed or you're hazel-eyed or you're black-eyed. You know, we don't, or brown-eyed. We don't say, you know, we say it like that. So why don't we also say that you're dark-skinned or you're brown-skinned or you're light-skinned? You know, it just feels like a much more honoring thing that we need to train ourselves to do. So the What It's Like category is all about us just kind of sharing our vulnerabilities, what it's like to be sexually abused, you know, what it's like to have a parent who hates you, you know, and when we read these, it changes everything about us. And I think that that's one of the things with the world is we never talked about things, so we didn't get to have that avenue of compassion to come through. Now we talk about it. Now we talk about our sexual abuse. Now we openly share what we had to walk. And that's what's happening right now with everybody. We're really looking back at what we had to walk, and we're seeing how those things can not only be strengths now in our life, but also can be something that we give back. Because every one of us, I see it in every chart now. It's all that stuff that was seen as negatives is what you're now going to use in your soul's purpose work. Every time. And that's just how it is. And so, yeah. One other thing too with this energy right now is that we are amped up to the first degree to make these changes. So we have Mars in a conjunction with Saturn, and you know, that's where the frustration comes. That's where it can keep you locked into a situation that is not good for you. Like a lot of people who have that in their chart, they have a really hard time changing into a better way of being. They just kind of think, let's just keep it going, we'll just keep with this. And with this new moon energy, it's coming together with Uranus. So that's saying, you know, we're going to shake this up. We're going to force you to change. We're going to bring you like an earthquake in San Francisco to wake people up about things, or, you know, whatever. But the thing, that earthquake that happened in San Francisco is absolutely in alignment with that aspect. That's, you know, when I was actually living in San Francisco, I was able to predict earthquakes. And it was never happened before in my life, but when I lived there, whenever we would have one several hours before, I would just go, earthquake, and I'd just be sitting there and all of a sudden be like, earthquake. And then at first when it would happen, I'm like, why did I just do that? And then we would have them. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm an earthquake predictor now. How cool. And I actually had been feeling earthquake energy for several days now in Northern California, and I've been having all these San Francisco feelings. I mean, even being back there and really wanting to be back there permanently, and you know, and all this stuff. It was really like I was having all these things because I'm so in nature. You know, everybody's like, get out into nature, get out into nature. And like my whole world is in nature. So I'm having so many like big city. And I'm like, get into the big city, big city. I'm missing the cement, you know. I'm missing walking everywhere briskly with headphones on. Because here you're walking everywhere, but it's slowly because you're hiking and and no headphones, because you really just want to be in nature. But I have so much of this that I'm really like, oh my gosh, I'm missing concrete like crazy. Oh yeah, when I was living out there is when all the midpoint information came through me, and I woke up on my 36th birthday and knew all the midpoint information. So I was writing all this stuff about this, but I got into researching earthquakes, and I realized that there were certain midpoints, and I should check this one. I thought that I forgot. I need to look that up. But I remember every earthquake we were having, where I would be like, earthquake, and then 3 hours later there'd be an earthquake. I would check the midpoints of that time, and every time the ascendant or the midheaven, I can't remember now, was on this certain midpoint. And it was the same one with 1906, it was the same with 1989. So I'd also been like, oh my God, I know how to, you know, find when earthquakes are going to happen. But or at least I could see that, oh, this was supposed to happen. This was like, you know, right in alignment with what very well possibly could happen. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so things right now are just shaking us up. I mean, and just rattling us and pulling things upside down to shake you out of that comfortable thing that's not really for your best. So this is why I say you can expect that people are going to make massive 180-degree changes. They can just be like all of a sudden leaving a partnership, all of a sudden leaving a job, all of a sudden moving to a new place. But it is going to come from that new direction of seeing things from your heart and seeing things from your intuition, where they're saying, you need to do this. You need to leap off this cliff, believe in this dream, and just do it. This is what your soul's purpose work is. And I'm not going to get into it now because I feel like this video is messing up, and but I want you to go read that in the written, because I talked all about this really amazing visit I had with this woman who I met in San Francisco back in the mid-90s when I was living there the first time, and she's psychic, and she has been a tarot card reader for 30 years. So she is so magical, you know. Even like I wrote, I was like, don't ask me, you know, to be on her client list, because she hasn't even taken new clients for like a decade, because she's so good and has built up such a client list that she doesn't even take any new people, because she makes a good living from all the people she's known for the past decades who always keep coming to her. So anyway, we had gotten together, and she never gives me readings, but she did actually share something with me, and it's really something that has completely transformed my life. And for weeks now, it's all I've been able to think about, and I wrote about it in the written horoscopes. But it can help you with understanding your soul's purpose, and what you're really here to do. Because one of the things she talked about was the metaphysical arena is saturated now, and it wasn't even 7 years ago, is how she put it. And I realized too with that, you know, that's why I say that I'm not so interested in talking astrology with people. Like if I'm at a party or something and someone's like, oh, let's discuss astrology, I'm out of there. I'm like, I think I'll go talk to other people. I do not want to sit here and talk astrology. Like, I don't have that huge interest. And a friend had said, you used to always, it's all you ever talked about. And when I had this visit with my psychic tarot card reading friend, it really opened me to the reason being is that because it is oversaturated now. Like, as she put it, everybody wants to do card readings, or they want to interpret astrology charts, or they want to do numerology, or they want to work with crystals. Like, everybody does. So all those things are not actual career professions anymore. They're hobbies, because we all are doing them. So the possibility that we're all going to make incomes from them as our primary income source is not going to be anymore in the world, because they're mainstream. When they weren't mainstream, we could, you know, and that's what it opened me to. It was like, oh, you know what? That's why 15 years ago I was looking to talk astrology with every person I could find, because nobody really knew about it. They knew about their sun signs, but they had no idea about the rising sign. So it was always so exciting for me to share this information. And through talking with her and all this stuff coming up, that's when I realized, wow, I like to share things that are new. You know, I like to share new information with you, or I like to teach things. That's why I like to teach astrology, you know, in another arena, like coming at people who don't really know about this? Oh, I love it. Bring them to me. Here, let me share this and da 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 da, you know. But people who've read all the books and watch all the videos, I'm like, you know, it's like it's harder for me to want to talk about that, because I feel like there's already been, you already have read so much, you already know so much, you've already, you know, this is why too, 15 years ago there was not YouTube. You weren't able to watch all these astrology movies. But so that really helped me understand why I do not so much have this, oh, I can't wait to talk astrology with anybody who wants to sit around here and talk about it. I'm more like, can we talk about farming? Can we talk about nutrition? Let's talk about these other things. Let's talk about vitamins. Let's talk about supplements, you know? But, so yeah, but I wrote all about that, so I want you to check that out because it was really informative, and it really set me straight on why I'm able to do what I'm able to do, which, you know, she brought that to my awareness, that my main thing is not here sharing astrology as I have power from knowing how to interpret symbols. You know, that's not my main thing. My main thing is I want to help ground you into a safe space. I want to help people be happy. I want to align people to their soul's work. I want to align people to feeling safe in the world. And that's what she had brought to my awareness, that that's your main goal. Astrology is just this other thing you end up talking about. But that's why she said I'm going to be successful, because my main goal is this other thing. And my soul's purpose work is this other thing. Astrology is just this added thing, because astrology is a hobby now for most people out there. They know all this stuff. So to think of having this be, making a career from it, is something that is not really possible in the world now, because it's oversaturated. But like she said, you know, when I started this stuff, this job was paved for me, you know, because she's like, I was psychic, you know, so what am I going to do? Oh, I'll do card readings. And then how many people are doing card readings? Only a handful, you know. So like, it's a different world now with the metaphysical being mainstream. So that is another aspect of what is my soul's work. Oh, I love to do tarot card readings, but is that how I'm going to make a living? You know, now that everybody's doing them, you know, or so many people are doing them. So, you know, that's where, you know, you have to then, you know, and I wrote about this. I think I'll just let you go read it, but I really wrote about trying to help you find what is that baseline core thing, like what I was saying about myself, how ultimately I just want to help people. Ultimately, I just want to know that people are happy, you know, so that's the baseline of what I'm doing. So you have to find what your baseline thing is, and it's going to come from what you've learned in your life. It's going to come from the path that you've walked. So that's where all your clues are coming. So I think I'm going to leave it at that, because this is, it's annoying me. Oh yeah, the battery's about to go dead anyway. So yeah, perfect. All the warnings are going, stop. But yes, I'll have this article down below where you can go find it. I'm also going to have some new moon affirmations written with the readings, so you can go and do those. And I hope you have a beautiful new moon, and know that in a couple days time you're going to have so much more clarity, because clarity is actually coming with this new moon, believe it or not. It's going to be chaos to clarity. It's going to start with a storm. It's going to start feeling like everything is all over the place and you can't make order of things, and there's too much going on and you don't have enough time to do everything, and you're going to be frustrated. But then in a couple of days it's going to be like, oh my gosh, clarity. And then there's going to be this amped up, grounded energy that's going to be like speed, or it's going to be like something that just keeps you going and keeps you going and keeps you going without giving up. It's going to be like okay, yeah, I think it's like warning me now that it's going to stop on me. I'm like, okay. It's giving me like 2 seconds to get gone. Okay, so everybody, you have a beautiful new moon. Go read my article. There'll be so much more details to that. Okay, all right, okay. I'm rushed. See, this is that energy. It's rushing me and pushing me along. Okay, all right already. I guess we can just let it happen. Moonbear, say hello. Look, come and say hello. Come here and say, oh, look at that pretty girl. You know you love the camera. Yeah, and now it's like, oh, I'm rushing you, but I'm not. Oh, hi, baby. Hi, baby. Okay. Rush. Have a beautiful new moon.